Miss LSU, maybe the biggest regular season game so far for the Tigers. I actually don't think that's much of a stretch. This is a big one. You know, I've talked about how this is kind of the defining stretch for LSU right here. They took care of business against Arkansas. Now it's Ole Miss. Then it's Missouri and Auburn. You go 4-0 through there, you're looking good. You're looking like an SEC West contender for sure. So we'll learn some more about this LSU team in this game. It's a top 20 battle, although I don't think Ole Miss really should be ranked in the top 20, and I'll tell you why. You know, I watched last year's game between LSU and Ole Miss back to get some notes and to kind of just get a second glance at it. I remember watching it last year. And then I watched Ole Miss's game against Alabama for the second time because when I watch games on Saturday, I got like 4 games going at once, so it's hard to process like everything that's going on between all of them. So I watched that one back too. And here are some of my takeaways. Ole Miss gave up some one-on-one deep shot plays, and I've talked about LSU needing a vertical element in its passing game. They have it. They've shown us they have it for the past 2-3 weeks consistently. In Alabama, with Jalen Milroe, who is a very average quarterback for Alabama, at least right now, they made plays on that secondary, and they led to touchdowns. They led to points, and points were hard to come by in that game. Alabama won 24-10. So I think LSU can expose this secondary through the air on those deep passes. Like we talked earlier in the show about Brian Thomas and how he has emerged as a downfield threat. Malik Neighbors obviously a downfield threat. It was a weak secondary coming into the season. They were ranked number 54 as a unit by Phil Steele because they had a lot of guys back that hadn't played a lot, but also when they did play, didn't put up very big numbers. And, you know, when you think about Ole Miss under Lane Kiffin, it's all offense, not much defense. And it seems like that's continuing to be the trend. They took Alabama's D coordinator, Pete Golding, who's, I think, pretty good. But for whatever reason, Ole Miss just can't get the defense right. I don't really understand why. But as far as the offense goes, Jackson Dart is their quarterback again. We saw him last year. I can't figure this guy out. You know, I mean, one play, he's making a very good throw, an NFL-level throw, as a former 4-star recruit should, which he is. But then on the next play, he's short-hopping a receiver. He's off with a wide-open target who's open for a first down, for a big play. I just don't understand it, how he can be brilliant in some situations and very bad in others. Like, there was a 4th and 23. Ole Miss needed the first down to keep the game alive, and he threw a perfect ball on a wheel route to the running back up the sideline. But then, the play before that, it's 3rd and, 16, something like that, and his receiver's wide open on an in-breaking route, and he throws it behind him. Like, I don't get it with this guy. So he's really inconsistent. I don't know what version of him we're going to get in this game on Saturday. You do need to account for his legs, though. He is kind of a dual-threat quarterback. He went for over 100 yards against Georgia Tech, and he's shown the ability to use his legs to extend plays, kind of like KJ Jefferson, but he's not the type of talent KJ is. So I really don't think his legs will be that much of a factor in this game. All the film I watched, he doesn't really show the ability to roll out, stay alive, and then find a receiver. More often than not, he's getting tripped up and taken down for a sack. So I don't think that's going to play a big role in this game. Ole Miss has a good offensive line, but it hasn't really shown it so far this year. They've struggled in pass protection. They've struggled in the run game. Quinshon Judkins, an All-American running back, has not had a, oh, wow, look at that kind of game this year. Like, I don't think he's topped 100 yards yet. Tulane bottled him up. He didn't even get over 50. So if LSU's front can be stout like it has been, we haven't really seen a running back go for big yardage against this team so far. I think they win this game if they do that. So, and then for LSU, in terms of offense, Jaden Daniels was massive with his legs in last year's game. Like, he had 3 or 4 rushing touchdowns himself. He took off on read options. He took off when plays were breaking down and the pocket was collapsing. This year, he's got more options to use, which is nice, but he's still got that run game element. So I think that's going to play a big role in this game, unlike what Jackson Dart can do. Jalen Milroe, Alabama's quarterback, had a lot of opportunities to get out of the pocket and run, but he just doesn't really have it all there from a football standpoint, so he would sit there and then get sacked after waiting for someone to come open for 5 yards. We know that Jaden Daniels doesn't do that. When he sees a lane to run, he goes, and he really goes. Maybe he goes too much. Like, he's taking a lot of contact. Maybe he should slide, but I love the aggression. It's going to be important in this game, I think. What you can't do, as I just said, though, is sit in the pocket for too long, like Milroe did, because Ole Miss's front and their D-line will get to you if you give them enough time to do that. So, all right, here's what I'm thinking for this game. Ole Miss is a 2.5-point dog at home, and sometimes when you see those lines as a bettor, you're like, ooh, I might take that. I don't think so, though. LSU's won 6 of the last 7 matchups. They are the favorite on the road, and that factors in that home crowd, and you get a couple of points for your home field advantage. In fact, I actually have Ole Miss's home field advantage written down. They get 4 points when they're home favorite. So that means on a neutral field, LSU is about a touchdown favorite against this team. So I'm rolling LSU. I don't think Ole Miss's defense can keep up. I don't think their offense is going to produce. They don't have a lot of skill position talent. Last year they had Jonathan Mingo and another receiver who, oh man, how am I forgetting his name? They had talent at wide receiver last year. That's the point. They don't really have it this year. Malik Heath. Those are 2 NFL receivers, Malik Heath and Jonathan Mingo right now. I don't think they have any on this Ole Miss offense. So I don't know why they're ranked in the top 25. They got a good running back, but he hasn't shown he's a good running back yet. The offensive line has struggled. I don't know. I think this one's pretty obvious for me. I think LSU goes to the Grove. They win, and they cover. I think they win by 2 possessions. I think we're overcomplicating this. That's what I think. I think LSU gets a statement win, a ranked win, and that hype. I know people were questioning, oh, they only beat Arkansas by 3. They'll learn this week, I think. Everyone's going to hop on the bandwagon after this one, and we're just going to go and go and go until LSU rolls into Tuscaloosa, and that's going to be an absolute classic. So I got LSU beating Ole Miss and covering, and I don't think it's going to be particularly close, but it should be a great game. And let me know what you think in the comments section.